What's up, everyone? So we finally got a chance to make it out to the Summitville mine, which was only like 10 miles down the road from our camp. I think it took us probably about 25-30 minutes, that's it, and we haven't been there yet, which was crazy. But I wanted to kind of go over some of the facts and history on this mine. It was a very beautiful ride, beautiful area up there, but sad to know that it was one of the most polluted spots, at least at one time, that there was in Colorado. So starting out, prospectors discovered gold in the Summitville area in 1870, but did not remain because of the Native Americans. And add on the winters at 11,500 feet, and there was just really no way to do much prospecting. As gold and silver was discovered or were discovered in other parts of the San Juan Mountains, the Brunot Treaty, I believe that's what it says, removed the Indians from their ancestral homelands, which is jacked up, and made it safe for the miners to venture into the mountains. In 1873, P.J. Peterson and F.H. Brandt discovered the Little Annie and the Margareta mines, and the Little Annie, I'll talk about here shortly, was the richest mine in the Summitville, Summit Mining District. Named after Mr. Peterson's daughter, the Little Annie mine was developed high in the South San Juan Mountains. Soon after, the town of Summitville was established. At its peak, Summitville had a population of more than 1,500 people and boasted a post office, they had everything, signal station, assay office, shoemaker, bakery, butcher shop, feed store, lumber yard, 2 general stores, 5 eating houses, 3 blacksmiths, 9 mills, 14 salons, and a newspaper called the Summitville Nugget. Going back to the Little Annie mine, like I said, it was the richest mine in the Summitville mining district, eventually becoming the 3rd richest gold mine in Colorado, but it did not last very long. By 1883, the mines played out and the town was nearly destroyed by a forest fire. In 1885, there were more than 250 individual mining claims in the area, in operation. But by 1893, the Summitville area was completely abandoned. That's like less than 10 years later. Crazy. Let me see what the next one says. Okay, so yeah, the gold rush, the second Summitville gold rush began in 1926 when Jack Pickens and his partner Judge Jesse Wiley leased the Little Annie mine. In 1902, Pickens discovered another rich vein of gold, but kept silent for 24 years until he found a way to lease the Little Annie mine. I wonder how much money he made keeping silent for 24 years. That's a long time. Summitville was revived in 1934 as the mines reopened. The reborn town had a post office, mess hall, bunkhouse, amusement hall, bathhouse, 2-room school, nearly 70 homes, and an integrated water system throughout the town. Summitville's population grew to 700 in less than a year and was the largest mining camp in Colorado at the time. So in 1938, they had 2 operating mills, 2 stores, and a large boarding house that housed 300 men, with a population of 1,500 with more than 900 men on payroll. Deeper underground mining principally targeted lower grade gold ore. Through 1949, more than 257,000 ounces of gold was produced from approximately 270,000 metric tons of ore extracted from the underground mines. It makes you wonder if you can find gold on the ground somewhere, or if you got to dig like 200 feet down. In the 1940s, copper was also mined for use during World War II. By 1956, the town was abandoned and only 12 men worked in the Summitville mines. Mining continued into the 1900s. In 1984, the 1,230-acre Summitville mine was acquired by Galactic Resources Limited, a Canadian-based subsidiary of Summitville Consolidated Mining Company, it's a long word. It began a new large-scale open-pit operation to mine gold and silver ore. A new cyanide, now listen to this, a new cyanide leach technique was used to extract gold from otherwise uneconomic ore. Unfortunately, toxic cyanide leaked into the Alamosa River in the 1980s and early 1990s. Mining ceased in 1991 and the company filed for bankruptcy in late 1992. I think that was after they were sued by the EPA. On December the 4th, 1992, the state of Colorado requested emergency response assistance from the Environmental Protection Agency. 12 days later, the Emergency Response Branch of the EPA assumed control of the site. It eventually turned into a Superfund site, if you know about those. They're just huge, large, federally maintained sites that are just contaminated beyond just crazy contaminated, where the federal government has to come in and clean it up on the taxpayers' dime most of the time. EPA immediately began water treatment plant modification to detoxify and treat cyanide, contaminated leachate, however you say that, and acid mine drainage. The EPA, with support from the state of Colorado, declared the Summitville mine a Superfund site on May 31st, 1994. Eventually, the American taxpayers spent more than $250 million to clean and reclaim the Summitville mine site. Each year, the EPA and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment treat approximately 350 million gallons of acid mine drainage at the Summitville site. As you can see in the videos, you may not see it now, I don't know where the video's at, but you'll see that it's still closed to the public, and they're still doing cleaning operations there. So here's a crazy thing. Let me see if I can find this. Like I said, I went down the rabbit hole on this right here, and there was a lot of issues on both sides, from the federal government and from the old mining company out of Canada. The federal government was doing a lot of illegal stuff when they were trying to prosecute this mining company. They were hiding evidence. I mean, just breaking the law left and right. And the reason I know that is because it went up to I believe the Canadians' version of the Supreme Court, and Canada sided with the mining company and like sued the EPA and fined them, and I think the EPA ended up paying as well, because they just withheld evidence and stuff. But the whole time, from what I was reading, the CEO kind of somewhat admitted fault, not really with him, but he's like, okay, it really wasn't my fault, but we understand there's a lot of pollution there. I'd like to donate, and it was, I want to say $25 million or something. So the whole time he was wanting to donate money, the EPA was saying no, but in the background they were putting together evidence and paperwork and stuff to prosecute him. They eventually did, and he countersued as well. But in the very end, from what I read, it was determined that most of the pollution came from nature. A lot of the acidic runoff from I think the rocks and the dirt or whatever kind of sediment. I guess it's when the water goes over, it's real acidic here, and that's where a lot of the pollution came from. That was my understanding on that, because I just couldn't believe that no one was prosecuted in this situation. Let's see if I can find something else. I don't see. Yeah, I think it was a compilation of a few different things. Number one, years ago, the federal government did not have any strict environmental laws in place. So, but to me, I mean, I know greed overcomes everything, but to me it's like common sense. If you're putting cyanide, I would challenge the CEO off. He's probably dead by now, but okay, if there's nothing wrong with doing this process, then show me that you can drink cyanide right now. If you cannot drink it, then it's not good for the environment, and it's not good for our water table that seeps into, or the streams or the rivers or whatever. But obviously they don't care about that when they're making money. So factor in the EPA not having the laws in place, company going bankrupt, and then for whatever reason at the end of the day they're blaming most of it on the acidic runoff from the rocks and sediment and stuff. I just can't believe no one was prosecuted or really fined. You know, I think the company was fined, obviously. I mentioned that earlier, but they just went bankrupt, so really nobody was punished, except for the American taxpayers for millions and millions of dollars. But just a sad story all around, but it was a great place to go visit. Very, very interesting. You'll see some of the equipment still there. Huge equipment, heavy. I mean, you're not moving it. I'd like to know what type of equipment it was. I may try to do some research on that. A lot of the houses are still standing, probably from the early 1900s, or not 1900s, but 1980s, maybe 1990s. I don't know when they were rebuilt, because remember, it burned down from a forest fire. And the reason I found this, or the way I found this, is because I was searching the map for a lake to go fish, and I found this lake, what I thought was a lake, 10 miles from here. And I'm like, I might be able to go fish that. Well, come to find out, it's not a lake, it's a water treatment plant to separate the acid, and I guess, I don't know if there's any more cyanide left over, but anyway, to clean the water for whenever it runs off into the creeks and rivers and stuff like that. So much for fishing anyway. But anyway, I just want to let everybody know we had a great time, and thank you for watching. And until next time, I'll throw the music back on and you can see some of the pictures and stuff from the mine. Thanks, and have a great day.